Hey folks, welcome back to another Pokemon video, and as usual, at the end of months, we'd go over, some of the units and see where they're generally at over here, right? And it's not like super end of the month, but I mean, I broke my phone HDMI thing, so like I can't really record anything on my phone anyway, so I'll just gonna do this, I guess. I mean, the units are all out, so let's talk about them. So. Yeah, anyways, obviously all is opinion subjective, right? No one is going to agree with this 100%. Even me, I don't even agree with this one 100%, right? But yeah, obviously shout outs to our mods who helped do this, even if some of them I don't like. No, not the people. I like our mods are great. The placements. Some of them I'm not a huge fan of, but yeah, let's do this, I guess. So we're gonna do, I guess, just utility units first, right? It's just generally supports, most supports, not all, but a decent amount of supports plus some other generally just tech. I don't think there's any strikers in here, are there? Yeah, I don't think there's any strikers. Just because strikers are either in damage dealer or hybrid, right? But yeah, just generally supports, some supports and some techs, right? That help. So let's get into this, I guess. So as usual, we're gonna just throw in one for each tier to start, so we generally see where we're at, right? For example, top tier, we could have Lyra in there, right? Lyra very, very powerful, especially when paired with Groudon. Right, and that also works really well with Rayquaza as well, right? The new Rayquaza, not the old one. Although she works decently well with the old Rayquaza as well too. But yeah, she's just a great unit, right? So many fantastic buffs at a very fast pace if you have Sun Up, right? Obviously, there's that one big if condition. If you don't have Sun Up, she's obviously not as good. Although she's still like usable without Sun, because you still have like max crit and like at least +2 attack, special attack, and speed, which is not bad with light screen. And all these Master Fairs, right, or Master Fair teams that she's used in, is that it really helps her defensively, right? Because one of her big issues where she's not the best defensively, right? She has a lot of HP, but can't survive too long. But a lot of these Master Fairs with these damage reductions actually kind of helps her survivability quite a bit, right? So that's really cool. Let's throw one in for the next tier, right? The close top but not exactly there tier, right? You put in, I guess, Falconer's a good stand-in, right? Falconer is kind of like Bianca if Bianca wasn't as good, I guess. Just didn't do as much damage. I don't know. Although Falconer can do damage, just not, maybe not the best idea, right? Just because Wild Charge. So, Falconer is great. Sets up Psych Terrain. Electric Terrain. Thunderfang is great, right? Has both Para and Flinch. Fantastic stuff there, right? Just overall, just a great unit, right? That does a lot of things for Electric type teams, and carries most Electric type teams. Although some might also argue it's a bit of a detriment to Electric type teams as well, but I mean, I see that argument. But he's still good. Moving on to the next tier. We go with something like, I guess we're Bomby, right? Max out crit, has HP sustainability, one of the rare evasion buffers in the game, right? Don't see that too often. And yeah, that's for Bomby. Moving on, something in the next tier, we could say maybe, where's Torchic? Let's put Torchic in. Torchic. There we go. Buffs crit, buffs attack, buffs special attack, buffs your own speed, and has a chance to burn. Pretty good. All right. Obviously, there are some downsides. Not the best tank, right? No defense buffs, no HP. Heals. Doesn't really do damage. Oh yeah, I know. Like most supports don't really need to do damage, but also just not that great of tank overall, right? And also you don't have a grid, so you don't have any of the MP refreshers, so you can't max out any of them. You could buff a lot of things, you can't max any of them out, unfortunately. Well, I guess you can max out your own speed, but outside of that, right? So Although again, not every unit needs like +6, right? Just some techs usually need it, but most units with +2, +4 is enough, right? Which Vector is good. Right. Moving on. Some next tier, I'd say Acerola. Unfortunately, not an S tier on ours, but not bad, I guess, right? Still a Sandstorm setter, can't take any hits, can't, really deal much back. Yeah, has some good buffs on Sandstorm, right? You have a chance for crit buffs, you have guaranteed physical attack buffs, right? Which are good. And yeah, she's a solid, not during weather setter, I guess, right? Although she's probably one of the weakest ones that have a grid. Terrain/weather, but still, use it, right? Moving on to usable, we could throw in something like, speaking of weather setters, this guy, right? Although Sun's, Sun's a very good weather, right? Blaine himself is not the best, right? His training move is kind of random, which is not very good. And he does have some good stuff though, right? He could trap, which is cool. But yeah, he's very fast. He's very fast. That's good as well, right? But again, no grid, no MP refresh on the sunny day, unfortunately. Moving on to the niche category, you could throw in something like maybe we throw in some Salamence, I guess. Buff some defenses, which is not that good, right? Moving on to extremely niche, it would be just something in the rest. Something like a Meltank, which does like nothing, honestly. There's a Paraflinch thing, but like, oh my god, who cares? There's so many better Paraflinch units out there, right? So yeah, let's just keep on going, I guess. Falconer's fantastic, right? Easy, fast buffs for attack, special attack, and crit. Yeah, you could fly when you want to dodge a few hits, which helps his survivability a bit, right? You gotta time them right, though. Don't want to, waste sync move countdown turns, but you get a few in there, right? But yeah, Falconer, even without flying, just the like non-fly part kit is still very good. Moving on, let's I don't know, Tangela, I guess we could put Tangela somewhere in probably this tier, right? Tangela is basically a one-woman, toxic stall army, right? She has toxic, and literally toxic, and trap, right? She take a few hits here and there, do some damage back, but again, not that big of a deal in terms of her kit. So that's nice. Next I have like Wheezing, I guess. Wheezing, man. Wheezing is kind of niche at this point. Again, he could take some hits. It's just regular poison is just not as good, right? It's just regular poison is just not as good as Battle Poison, unfortunately. Yeah, plus there's just so many great Battle Poison units nowadays, right? Like, why would you ever opt for regular poison over Battle Poison, right? It's not like any of those Battle Poison units are like bad tanks either, right? Like Viper, Tangela, right? Venusaur, they're all like pretty solid tanks as well. Moving on, 10 Surge Raichus, fantastic, right? That's guaranteed paralysis, right? On top of max crit buffs, max attack buffs potentially, right? Speed buffs as well, all that stuff. Very good unit. And in that same vein, Buggy Scyther as well, right? Basically does the same thing, right? Has the Sing Soup Blue trainer move for some reason. I don't know why, but they did give him that. Has Leer, which is fantastic for physical support. That's just one of the best combos, right? And just very good. Alright, moving on. Morty, I guess. Put him like maybe very good, I guess. By the way, these aren't ordered, and also again, these aren't, a pull, list, right? Because again, there's difference between how good a unit is and how much their banner is worth in terms of value, right? But yeah, Morty is he's fine. Great defensive buffing unit. Right, it's kind of like Salamence, but with a grid and like better. But again, current meta not the best for him. Moving on, Sawyer is pretty nice. Unfortunately, again, his training move only has 1 MP. But like outside of that, just a pretty great offensive buffer overall, right? A bit inconsistent, but you know, it's doable, right? Phoebe is not that great of a unit, but she's a Hoenn support, and there aren't that many Hoenn supports, unless any good ones. She basically gets carried by Groudon Kyogre, right? Like, her kit is not that great. It's a max grip buff and a very suspect attack buff, and very slow. And no defense buffs. She does have vigilance though built in, but like again, vigilance you could just roll on lucky skill anyways. Rosanta, I'm kind of hitting good or higher. I'm leaning towards good personally. She's obviously great in hail teams, right? Really good in hail teams. The move gauge Hellerica is great. The random buffs are great, right? And she has guaranteed speed buffs and attack buffs, which are good. So there's that. Moving on, things to Lisa. Probably in 3rd tier too, right? Crit buffs are unreliable. What if you do get an MP? Dude, Sings to Lisa is a completely different monster. Depending on if you get an MP refresh on Breathtaking or not. Right? But yeah, special attack buffer as crit buffs, accuracy buffs, sync move countdown, right? But yeah, it really depends on if you get that one, you know, MP refresh on Breathtaking. Rosa's not bad, I guess. Can take some hits, buff move gauges, special attack buffs, right? Energy ball. Misty Psyduck, that's the new unit here, right? Misty Psyduck, probably good, I guess. She's she's a decently usable defensive support, basically, right? It's just that, like, when you're not, like, after you use your training move, you basically are just reacting to what the opponent does. A lot of times you just don't do anything. You're just like spamming 1 gauge water gun and just waiting and doing, like, you're just contributing nothing, right? But again, overall, she's decent, right? Superior, not superior. So Viper, the other snake. Probably usable. Erica's just better, right? Erica's just better. And I'm saying that as a least fan. At least she's probably what, my 2nd, 3rd favorite female character in Pokemon, right? But yeah, she's just not, you know, she's not as good as Erica, basically. But you know, again, she can still do her thing, right? Toxic Trap Stall, etc., all that stuff. Sabrina is easily still top tier, right? Crit buffs, max crit buffs, obviously. 6th Sense, one of the, you know, best single target buff moves in the game, right? Super good. Great damage dealer as well, right? What else? Great special tank, reflex, physical damage reduction, speed buffs. She's very fast herself, right? Glacia is very mediocre, unfortunately. She just, oh man, she just doesn't do anything. Yeah, like, her big thing is she regens, but there's so many better regen units at this point, right? And oh, her other big thing is that she redirects damage. However, she sucks at tanking, so why are you trying to redirect it? So yeah, she's not, like, she has some like freeze stuff though, but again, like, freeze is so bad, honestly. So anyways, Lunatone, I probably put it here as well. Honestly, Lunatone is like much better than Glacia, but again, it's not ordered within tiers. But yeah, Lunatone's great for what it is, right? As a non-gridded 3-star support. Buffs both attack, special attack. Although attack, special attack dual buffs aren't like super common in terms of like need, right? Special defense buffs, which are nice and rare. Well, not like super rare, but yeah. 1 gauge spam, just pretty good unit overall, right? Honestly, I kind of even want to move her up 1. But anyways, moving on. Lily's pretty good. We put her in like 3rd tier, right? The guaranteed crit is always nice to have. The max attack, special attack buffs are nice. she is very, very slow, unfortunately. The accuracy buffs are nice, right? The unfortuitous drops are good. Well, I won't say good, but decent. Okay, you know what? No, they're not that good. they're there, I guess. Elio, I do not know how to pronounce this guy's name, but whatever this guy's name is pronounced, he's not bad, I guess. He has 1 gauge spammable sleep, even though it's the worst, sleep in the game. Just because of the accuracy issues, right? Outside of that, he has very clunky support, really clunky support. Right? A lot of his stuff relies on sinking the opponent first and like throwing in like a 3 gauge move while being very, very slow, right? But his initial buffs they're not like good, but they're usable, right? This guy's very, very, very good. Sandstorm setter, fantastic. Tank, speed buffs, right? As all your attacks, special attack, crit buffs, all that stuff. The free move next is godly, right? Accuracy debuffs is cool. So very, very, very good unit, obviously. This guy's very, very good too. Max attack, max crit, could potentially max speed as well, right? Just great physical buffer, right? Skyla, she's still fine, right? The potions are very powerful, for her, right? Or her own potions. The speed buff is nice. The 1 gauge spammable on Gus is good, right? She has some attack buffs on Sync, Fanfare. I don't care about the flinch. Honestly, I do not care about the flinch. And she has defense buffs. Moving on, All Creamy is fantastic, right? She's got the special attack buffs, the gradual heal as well, the special defense debuffs, which is probably the best part of her kit, right? With the ripple effect, which is great too. Attack debuffs, which can be used, right? Just a very, very great all-around utility unit. Viola is fine, right? She's a solid special tank. Debuff special attack AoE, which is cool. Can trap, alright. Sing Blue is really good. He buffs a lot of things, right? Even though very, very slowly, but he's tanky enough to survive a lot of battles generally, right? Got the very fast defense buffs. It has the great train move that Bugsy has, right? Which is good. And yeah, I guess he could also potentially be in the hybrid tiers, because his Hydro Cannon does a lot of damage as well, right? So he's one of the best rain team supports, right? This guy is good. Max crit buffs, the attack buffs take a while, right? But defense buffs are nice. All that stuff. 1 gauge spammable Metronome has a chance 1 shot. Not that that's in consideration. Nanu's not bad, right? He's kind of like Dawnberry if Dawnberry only had like her one like good thing and not the other 10,000 things she does, right? With the defense debuffs, obviously. Obstagoon is fine, right? A bit clunky to use overall. His the block's not good, but the crit buffs are nice, right? Which is good. And he occasionally gets you some attack buffs as well. Hellerica is just mostly outclassed by Xerneas at the moment, but still a very, very good tank. Kukui is good for debuffing defenses. AoE obviously very, very fast unit as well. Doesn't hurt your team's speed, has flinch if you care about that. You have Roxanne over here. Roxanne's really good as well. Again, a bit carried by the Hoenn, Groudon Kyogre, but that aside, she's still great support, buff some good stats. Special attack and speed, which is fantastic in 1 move, and then you have defense buffs, and then wide guard, sometimes useful. Kyo is fantastic, right? Crit buff, special attack buffs, physical attack buffs. defense down, speed buffs, has move gauge acceleration on entry, has potions, right? All that stuff, self speed buffs, etc. It was kind of like if Torchic got a grid, in some ways. Not obviously, there's a lot of differences, but in some ways. Torterra is very good, right? Just great tank overall. Good damage too, right? Good heals. Well, heal, not heals, because there's only one heal. I guess she also has like her own gradual healing, but you know, yeah, just great unit. For buffing defenses, and debuffing attack. What's this? Clement. Clement's just there. He's not used too much in things right now, but those debuffs are existent, I guess. I don't know. Debuffs just gets extremely outclassed nowadays. I'm inclined to move him down one, maybe. Yeah, his debuffs just get completely outclassed nowadays, right? With speed, with Paladin's Arena, and then there's better mud slappers too, right? With like Ingo or whatever. So, what's his face? Ramos is he's okay. He's just not that. He's a sleeper, which is, you know, sleep is good, but like there's better sleepers, right? He's just not as fast as most other sleepers. Calum, I think we're gonna put him in hybrid, so we'll talk about him in hybrid, I guess. Xerneas is still good, I guess. Obviously the big downside to Xerneas is you don't really have too many buffs until, or you don't get like your main buffs until you sync, and you have to sync with Xerneas, and syncing is obviously very valuable nowadays, and then you have to like waste one on Xerneas, which is slightly unfortunate, but still overall fantastic tank, right? Fantastic tank. Really good for longer battles like Legendary Arena, right? Pelippers, okay, alright. I do like Pelippers trying to move much better than Blaine's, much more consistent, good, you know, buffs, all that stuff. Has flinches if you care. Obviously the big thing is rain dance, but again, no MP refresh on rain dance, just like Blaine, right? Trail's okay. She just can't take a single physical hit, but, you know, special attack buffer. I'll talk about him later since he's the more interesting one. She's decent, right? Solid tank, right? Energy ball, special defense debuffs, paralysis in there, all that stuff. Eevee's okay, right? 1 gauge spam. The potions are good. And yeah, she buffs some stuff on sync. Obviously the biggest downside of her Eevee is she just doesn't do anything if you don't sync, basically. She's like a worse Psyduck if you don't sync with her, which is why you gotta sync with her, and which is why if she didn't have a 6 REX, she also probably not be her either, unfortunately. But she does have a 6 REX, and 6 REX syncing with Eevee is actually not bad. Moving on, Jasmine, we're seriously considering moving down. It's like she just doesn't do anything, right? She's really hard to fit into team comps nowadays, right? A lot of people usually, you know, she used to be the go-to tank for sands or sand teams, but like now obviously, you know, you have much better sand tanks, right? Plus she's really slow. I wouldn't be opposed to moving her down one. Like straight up, like everyone over here is better, right? Everyone over here is better. I'll keep her here for now, though, I guess. Lana's fine. She's pretty slow. Has some buffs. You know, she healed herself. The group fire water guard stuff is cool. So that's nice. Moving on, Maylene is fine, right? Obviously, no grid, no MP refresh. But outside of that, the crit buffs and attack buffs are cool. Surge is very niche, right? Very fast at debuffing opponents' special attack, but again, nowadays there's just better units that can do that, right? Whether it be Getsus, which is all free, and some other units like that. This guy's not good. Extremely niche, right? Rarely would you ever really need him, right, for the snatch stuff generally. She sets hail, but like she's terrible. You could use her in some toxic stall comps to debuff the opponent's stats after they're poisoned, so they don't, so they deal less damage to you, I guess. Marley doesn't do anything real. He doesn't do anything real. He doesn't do anything real. She's fake. He comes around once every year to fight Cresselia, or twice every year, I guess. He's not real. She doesn't do anything. He does some things, but not good enough to be useful, I guess. These guys don't do much. He gets completely outclassed. And Snorlax, which is an interesting one. I'm going with tier 2 personally. Again, keep in mind these aren't ordered. I think he's probably one of the better tier 2s, definitely. Again, his training move is very, very good. The SE up thing is very, very good as a mechanic, which is why he is kind of like, or old Phoebe in a sense. But the rest of his kit kind of sucks, right? The rest of his kit is not very good, but his training move is fantastic, right? And he's especially good in Master Mode, right? He's really, really good in Master Mode. But outside of that, again, he does have some issues, right? Move gauge issue being one of the big ones. Rock Smash is good though. Rock Smash is good, right? But yeah, outside of that, he's terrible buffer overall, and his mini potions suck, honestly, right? He's a Battle Villa god, absolutely Battle Villa god, right? But yeah, outside of that, very, very good support. Just not exactly, as convenient or as maybe powerful as some of the others. But again, still very, very, very good. So, anyways, that's really this one. I guess I'll be all generally, guys. Think in the comments down below. Like, share this video, subscribe to my channel for some more fun content. I'll see you guys in the next one then.